What's up, junkies? Welcome back in for another edition of Pigskin Junkies. Myself, Michael Larson, big brother Jared Larson, here to talk some college football. And for the first time in probably over a year,
live.
This is being recorded in person.
We'll do it live.
Pretty exciting stuff here.
In the flesh.
Yeah.
Mike is talking because we're in like an office environment, and I think he's afraid of people hearing us.
These walls are very thin, folks, and I don't want to give out our podcast for free. Oh, wait.
We do.
We do that anyway.
I'm already printing money for you guys, so might as well. One of my friends tried to ride my bike about it. I see I even have my earphones in, like I'm ready to record the pod.
On the line.
Some guy tried to ride my bike about something, and I'm like, we're actually giving out free money on a free podcast, and you're going to complain to me about whatever this stupid thing was. He's like, you're right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, they're like, I disagree with your pick. I'm like, okay, that's great. Like,
where's your record, bro?
Yeah. Which, speaking of, I left my handy-dandy notebook at home, so I don't have our records right in front of me.
5-1 last week.
I think I went 2-2.
Absolutely on fire. I loved the card last week, I must admit.
There you go. Humble brag.
More than I have all year.
So what's
this week? I like it.
You're 5-1. Go ahead, hit it.
Game number 1. Take me home, country roads.
Yuck.
West Virginia Mountaineers. I like Neil Brown a lot. I've been fading Texas Tech most of the season. Give me the Mountaineers plus the 2.5 at home. Light the couches on fire. Keep the points, Vegas. All the things that this podcast is known for. Very on brand pick for me. West Virginia plus 2.5.
Scotty's on fire. First pick for me is actually going to be a little Friday night action.
Not Thursday. That was yesterday.
I got Washington minus 10 against Oregon State. I know it's going to be head-to-head against Jared, which is 3-2 on the year. But
not an official selection.
I have Washington. I think this Oregon State team, everyone's all of a sudden like, wait a second. They're 4-4. They're sitting high in the Pac-12, North side of the division. I think they're in second place. This Washington team is in third, right behind them.
Well, I was going to say, but who they still have to play?
Exactly, like Washington, Arizona State, Oregon. Yeah.
Obviously.
So that's who I have tonight. I think if you look at this Oregon State team, whenever they've played a slightly physical to above physical team, i.e. your Utah is the above physical team, they lost 52-7.
Utah's good.
Yes, Utah is very good.
I hope Utah gets in the playoff.
So does Lee Corso.
They won't, but I hope they will. And if they do, they'll get boat raced. But
so I got Washington tonight.
Pick number 2, Micah's team, the Duke Blue Devils, plus 8.5. I will continue to fade Notre Dame. Was not impressed by what I saw last week. I think they should have lost the game. I think they were lucky to win. And I'm just going to keep fading them. They got to go on the road here. This line, to see it outside of a touchdown, I was quite surprised. I expected it to come in around 4 or 5, and we're getting 8.5 here. So I will continue to go against the market perception that Notre Dame is actually a good team. I honestly, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because they recruit well, but I just don't see it. And I expect this line to move up closer to 10. But give me Duke, give me Cutcliffe. I would love to see what Cutcliffe would be able to do with some actual players. Like, he's been at Duke for I don't know how long now, maybe 10 years, and they have not had anybody ever, and he just continues to grind out winners. So, and even if you look at how they played, I think they stuck with, candidly, the tipping point for me was when they played Alabama to open the season. I'm like, they have no business being in this game, and they were still, call it, around at halftime. So, I'll take Duke at home.
Next up for me will be a little bit of a gun-to-the-head teaser, as much as it hurts me to say, as I sit here in my maroon and my Charlie Brown socks. I have Penn State minus 6.5. This is years and years of trauma, but if you watched all of the Gopher games like I have, one, they haven't played anyone, but you look at when they played smaller teams like a South Dakota State, Fresno.
Smaller and faster.
Exactly. Stunts and speed up front. Now, I know Penn State is without one of their key defensive tackles. I don't care. They're still going to be elite athletes across the board. This team is the number 4 team according to the committee for obvious reasons. I think they have talent. And if they run, basically it's going to come down to Ohio State versus Penn State for who's going to represent the Big Ten in the playoff. But you throw in the fact that they're going to have guys who are as big and as strong as as the Minnesota offensive line.
Fanboys sneaking out there.
I know. Whoops. Then you throw in the fact that they can actually run and do stunts on top of it, so they're not just going to be able to manhandle them. That scares me. And if Minnesota can't run the football, I don't trust Morgan to win the football game for the Gophers. Sophomore.
Okay. Yeah, that's in gun to your head, so I'll keep that. I'll keep my opinion on that till later. Game number 3 for me. Leave it on the grass.
Ooh.
Herm laying the one in the hook. I think this is a broken USC team. I mentioned it on the recap show. We watched that game. Kayvon Slovis or Kaydon or whatever his name is, Slovis, I think looked really good, as I said, the first 15 minutes, and then too many turnovers. And then I think Clay Helton is walking dead man, lame duck, and I think he will.
Urban Meyer.
Yeah, these coaching reports are just absurd. That is what I wanted to say. Anyone that has a take on who should be ranked what in the initial playoff rankings, like, you can keep it. I don't care. These teams are going to play each other, and it will be settled on the field. So shut up. Nobody cares. Goodbye.
They're going to leave it on the grass.
Yeah, leave it on the grass. Arizona State at home. This team's been Jekyll and Hyde, home and road. A lot of that has to do with the fact, much like Auburn, we have a 18-year-old kid playing quarterback, and so do they. So a lot of comforts of home here. I expect them to get it done, and I don't expect a top effort from USC coming off the letdown of controlling their destiny in the South and then losing substantially to Oregon last week. So Arizona State, I'm seeing 1.5. I could see this pinging back and around at 0, over and back, but not concerned giving her taking a point or 1.5 here.
Yeah, that was a tough spot, but I think what you'll hear Jared and I say a lot with USC is especially that when they are not playing in the Coliseum, it is a team that you should be very, very afraid of having any confidence in.
Agreed.
Next for me, this will be my third pick, and that is I'm actually going with the Ole Miss Rebs. Land Shark, whatever. But -29, I know it's a lot of points to be putting on Ole Miss, but this Plumlee kid, I was very impressed with how he played last week. And this defense is very, very good under Coach McIntyre, who I think will be leaving after this year for I'm sure some middle-of-the-road name will get taken to some big school, and he'll plug in place. And Rich Rodriguez calling the plays offensively. We all know that this is you have an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator with lots of head coaching experience, basically working Coach Matt Luke like a puppet, I'm sure, to just make it look like he's he didn't know he's doing the headmaster behind everything. But he's the smiling, happy face that keeps the boosters happy, and those two can just grind behind the scenes. And I think this Ole Miss team has really improved as the season has gone on, and I think this will be a game where they can prove it. Now they have to play in the SEC West, and it's just going to be hard to win games that way. So I have Ole Miss -29 against New Mexico State.
Game number 4, Baylor -2.5 at TCU. This is a square play, but I think Baylor continues to impress. I've been a fan of Matt Rule and his ability to lead the program really for the last couple of years, 2 or 3, but also when he was at Temple. This is a team that's cruising for the Big 12 title game. Still have the motivational factors they're in to make it. I've seen a couple 3 pops up. We are recording Friday afternoon around 3 o'clock Eastern time. I don't know that I would lay over 3, but I think if you can get that number inside of 3, I would take Baylor to get the job done at TCU and whoever is playing at quarterback.
Yeah. TCU, I think I said it last week because they played Oklahoma State, and I said this is going to be such a Big 12 game of TCU goes out, they beat Texas, and then
excited, and then
fall flat on your face the next week. That's just the way the cookie crumbles in the Big 12. Next up for me, I'm starting to work into. Actually, I'll go into my Big 12 game first. This is going to be hair on fire, Oklahoma. I think Jalen Hurts might have 500 yards be responsible for 500-plus yards offensively. This Oklahoma team, this is a game that Jared, I know, loves picking because it always seemed to be the sleeper that they would go, and Iowa State would always get. Exactly, because they lost last week. They're going to come out just pissed off. And I think this defense is going to be very embarrassed with how they played against a Kansas State team because I have been very impressed with Oklahoma's improvement defensively. I think they have some really good linebackers and have made it look like they can compete in the college football playoff. Now, that might be in jeopardy.
I can't believe they lost. I still can't believe they lost.
I can't either. And not like a last-second field goal like they got it handed to them. So I think I would not have wanted to be at practice this week in Norman, Oklahoma. I think Lincoln Riley is going to prove to a lot of people that, hey, like, this is kind of really the first time he's had something like this happen to him, where he's been just pummeled by a team he shouldn't have even been on the same field with. So this is going to be a big statement for him, for Jalen Hurts, for the Oklahoma defense, and I think Iowa State just happens to be the sad, faceless opponent that's going to be walking into that stadium.
Yeah, Mike said it. This is a game that I normally look to play. I will not be betting them. This, for me, just on brand is Iowa State or pass, and Iowa State is not on the card for me. So take from that what you please. Game number 5.
That's saying a lot without saying anything at all.
Well, it's like I'm not willing to pick them, so like I want to pick them, but it's not enough points.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky, if it's even on the fringe, I'm taking them. Kentucky -1.5 at home against Tennessee. A lot of rumors swirling. Bob Stoops, Florida State, Kentucky. This is a pretty big rivalry game and one that Kentucky seems to take way more seriously.
Isn't Mark Stoops is the one?
What did I say, Bob?
Bob.
Yeah.
Both of them, but Bob said no.
Bob said no. Mark is the one that's apparently in the mix.
And previously spoken about Iowa State head coach Matt Campbell.
I think his buyout's too big.
He was had the best odds.
I think his buyout's like $9 million. Florida State ain't got no money.
That's why the Gophers put theirs at $10 million for PJ Fleck for the first year, and then after that it goes like to 6.5.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
very interesting. Mark Stoops, Kentucky. It's basketball season in Big Blue Land,
yeah.
So he's going to make a statement here. I think at home against Tennessee and get the win. Candidly, I want no part of a Tennessee team on the road. They've gotten a little tougher. They've played a little harder the last couple weeks against some subpar opponents, but far from getting right. Kentucky -1.5.
I think the public is actually on Tennessee. I think the majority of the people are betting Tennessee.
Good.
Which I think is interesting.
So maybe we'll even get a pick 'em.
Ooh. Last pick for me, I have Wyoming traveling to the Smurf Turf. Don't fact check me on that as I speak here. I have versus, so that usually means home squad.
It normally means that.
Mm-hmm. But
see how I do that little @ symbol on the other ones?
Yeah, that's what I do on mine too. You jagaloon. But anyway, if this is in Laramie, it goes back to my week 1 pick of, in case anyone forgot, I had
Boise.
Okay.
Ooh, the 10-15 Chase game.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready. No, the real Chase game is Hawaii. I think -8.
There's always the Chase, the ultimate Chase game.
Yeah,
I don't even stay up long enough to chase these games. You got to make it to midnight.
Depending on how my day's going, I can usually swing that.
That's true.
But anywho, I have Wyoming +14.5 against Boise State. I have bet on this Boise State team. Both of these teams were huge in me hitting my first week parlay. Boise State beating Florida State and Wyoming beating Missouri outright. So that was great. But I have Wyoming in this one. I just think it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out, ugly football game. I don't know what the weather's going to be like up in Boise, but I'm sure it's just going to be gross and cold. And that's just kind of the football that they want to play. So I don't think Boise beats them by more than 2 touchdowns.
Bonus selection from Jared. Virginia Tech Hokies +2. Wake Forest, I was eyeing it. That line reeks. And based on what I saw last week from Virginia Tech's quarterback, I don't know how they're going to score. Wake Forest has impressed me all year. as I said, this is just one of those gifts that you receive from the lines maker that says none of this makes any sense at all. So take that team.
They stuck the lines maker in a box and said these are the numbers you're going to plug into a computer.
Yep.
You don't ask questions.
Sometimes you're given gifts. Just accept them. A little early Christmas present.
So, I don't have the records in front of me, but Jared has taken the lead in gun to the head.
Boom.
I still hold the lead once again for head-to-head, which is what matters. But anywho, hypothetical, gun to our heads. I've already bet the one game and taken Penn State.
What number did you get? 6.5?
I got 6.5. That's, I think, where the most popular one is. On some sites, it's 7.
I'll be watching. If I'm going to bet it, it would be Gophers, which means Fade Town, USA, because anytime I bet the Gophers, they get crushed. I think...
somewhere everyone that we're friends with is screaming, no, please. Yeah. It's like Corso with the headgear. With Auburn, if he picks Auburn, we're like, crap.
The environment... I'll be very closely in tune with the environment because I think it's an 11 a.m. game. It's probably going to be cold. I think that the fan base for Minnesota is a lot more local people as opposed to students. So I don't know that it's going to be as rowdy as what you would see in Tuscaloosa, as an example, this weekend. And, so I think that minimizes a little bit of the home field advantage, but I've been impressed with them. I think, like I said, that's just a heck of a lot of points to be laying on the road in a big-time game like this where, Minnesota has a chance to do some things on the field and get to the Big Ten Championship in Indianapolis. And
they can lose this game and it still be in there. They can still make it.
Yeah, so I just, I think Fleck is smart enough to say, okay, we're not going to be able to out-athlete these guys. We kind of got to make it muddy and ugly. And I could see something in the low teens, high teens, low 20s. So if anything, this is more of a numbers play for me. I might take the total under. But yeah, that's why it's called gun to your head in the segment. I would take the Gophers.
The Gophers. Wow, talk about role reversal.
Seriously.
So next up, we're going to stay in the Big Ten, and that's a team that the Gophers. So 2 teams Gophers still have yet to play on the season. One of them they play next week, and then they'll have a time off, and then they'll play the other one. So it's Iowa, Wisconsin. This is in Iowa. Madison. Badgers are -9 against the Hawkeyes. Keyword in Madison, I think.
I know. Just give me Iowa. That's my brand. I can't bet Wisconsin. This line doesn't make any sense to me either, but I think Wisconsin gets a lot of respect based on their running game, which they deserve. But again, I feel like this is the game that Ferentz is like, okay, this is the one a year that I'm going to win, and then they give me an extension again.
I need to keep my job,
yeah,
so I got.
I don't know. I can't wait for the Iowa-Minnesota game. I think that's going to be a good one too. But I think Ferentz finds a way to muddy it up and ugly. It's something kind of like the one in Kinnick, the Penn State game. What was that, 2 or 3 years ago? I don't remember. But something like that. So Wisconsin wins, but inside of a touchdown.
By a field goal.
Yeah. I think it's so stupid when people are like, by a field goal. I'm like, you don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be back and forth. I don't think you'll see anyone get blown out. And to feel comfortable covering 9 points, it's got to be a blowout.
Yeah.
You got to be up by
10,
17 or more.
To feel comfortable.
That's what I mean. To feel good about it.
No, this is going to be a Pepto game. This is going to be. I got Wisconsin. Gun to my head.
Oh baby, we're getting juicy here.
We got Pepto flowing in here right now, but I just think I haven't been impressed with whoever Iowa's quarterback is. Who
Kyle Stanley
was getting
Nate Stanley
was getting the Mitch Leidner treatment early in the year, where they were like, "Oh, a lot of NFL scouts really interested in this guy."
No, wrong.
Guy can't throw a football in the ocean if he was swimming in a little
Because what's his face? C.J. Beathard had like one good game for the Niners last year,
yeah.
And everyone's like, "Whoa!" It's like, no, man.
Iowa, can they produce quarterbacks? Who was when they played in the Capital One Bowl, number 12? He had a really cool name. Iowa's quarterback. Anyway,
I can see it, but I don't know the name.
I'm gonna look it up when Jared does this next gun to the head. But last but not least, the quote-unquote game of the century.
It's so stupid that they call it that. It's not the game of the century.
Now number 2 versus number 3.
Yeah, well, who cares? It's 1 and 2. And anyone... Actually, Ohio State has been extremely impressive.
What's his butt sitting out this week?
Sitting out? No, he's suspended.
Yeah. So
he's sitting out, and then it was like, you can't play.
Yeah, you're not allowed to play no more.
Yeah, because he took a loan from a friend.
a friend.
A family friend.
A very close friend.
That he met
on his recruiting trip.
Well, then he's like, the summer before, I'm like, oh. So you've got multiple loans from this guy, huh?
Uh-huh.
This whole thing. Like, if you think that college players aren't being paid, like, open your eyes, man. Wake up. Quit being so delusional and, like, holier than thou about it. I'm going to take LSU mainly because I just want to cheer for them. I think 7's the right number. I think you see some 6s, and I think they're some 6.5s, and I think that they're begging for some Bama money. Man, I don't know. It's going to be great. I think, what's the total? Total's like 60-something. I've heard some reports that 62.5. So I've heard some sharp under has been the play. I expect it to be up and down, man. I have not seen a whole lot from Bama, especially their linebackers this year.
Mm-hmm.
LSU's real banged up on the backside, back four, and they do not have the defensive line this year that historically they have had. So, I mean,
it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be weird.
I was talking with a friend of mine earlier this week. I mean, dude, the scouting, these wide receivers for Alabama are so good. Like, people talking about Tua being rusty. It doesn't matter if Ruggs doesn't have anyone within 5 yards of him.
Yeah.
You know, he's getting to the top of these drops, and it's like, this dude's open, this dude's open, this dude's open. Who do I want to spread the ball around to today? But I think if LSU is able to get after Tua, get him unsettled with the ankle, I could see him playing very similarly to the way he did in the first half of the national championship game last year against Georgia, which was he struggled. Georgia was able to get him uncomfortable in the pocket, and he wasn't able to complete nearly as many passes as what many would anticipate. So that's something that I will be pretty tuned into first quarter, first 20 minutes of the game is LSU able to unsettle Tua in the pocket? Mm-hmm. If so, I think they can win. If not, I think it's going to be a long day for the Bayou Bengals. But given the points, like I said, I want to cheer for them. And this is, I don't see any value in this number. So, nothing there.
I'm a huge Joe Burrow believer, and this is gun to my head, obviously. But LSU in this one, I haven't been impressed with Alabama's defense. Yes, there's question marks with Tua, but as Jared mentioned, they can sling the rock around. LSU's defense hasn't even been that great this year.
Neither.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. I'm excited. There's a lot of NFL talent now on the offensive side of the field. It's funny to start this last decade. We had the great Alabama LSU defenses going against each other.
Sixes, some shutouts.
And now to end this, we have the great offenses of the two schools going against each other. So it's a very interesting thing to see the kind of how college football landscapes are constantly changing with programs and what their identities are. And it'll be interesting to see. I mean, this big game for Coach O. I mean, you have to give the coaching edge to Alabama.
No question.
I mean, but I'm just excited. I'm excited to watch this football game, and I hope LSU comes out on top. And then we can just bury Bama and then have the tiebreaker and finish above them. And they finish third in the SEC West. It'd just be crazy.
That would be. I'm pumped for our game with them, yeah.
And it's Ricky Stanzi, by the way.
Ricky Stanzi, yes, I remember.
Very, very underrated quarterback at Iowa. He was very good.
Yeah, they all look the same.
They do.
Just got different names and different numbers.
Common white guy.
Yeah.
The common
run-of-the-mill white dude. Yeah. Chucking it around freezing cold temperatures.
Mm-hmm. Long sleeve black shirt.
All the way, except for, remember Brad Banks? Way back, number 7.
Yes.
Guy?
Yep.
That's the last time they had anyone that didn't look like what they've had for the last 2 decades. They went to the Orange Bowl with him. That was when they played USC, like 2004.
Yeah.
I think. Anyways. That shows you how well I know the Iowa.
Jared is the biggest closet Hawkeyes fan that's ever walked planet Earth.
Well, I love him. That's why I just took him against Wisconsin. My gun to the head picks this week are complete fandom and who do I want to cheer for when I'm watching the game. Linky Stanley, that's right. And then Beathard, and now this guy.
CJ Beathard.
Yeah,
oh,
jeez. But, it's really good. We're into November now, so this is when it starts to get good. The quality of the games increase. You're starting getting some of these top-end matchups, and it's almost rivalry season. So you're going to see quality for the next 3 weeks, and then you have a bunch of rivalry games after that. So it'll be great. I mean, this is the prime time of college football. This is really what you wait for all season.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Well, Jared, that is going to do it for this week's edition of Pigskin Junkies. I'm Michael Larson. That's Jared Larson. We're out of here, junkies.
Well, bam.